And okay, so I want to welcome everyone to our fireside chat. And Judy, thank you so much for sharing this. It's an idea that Judy actually shared with us, and I thought, wow, that'll be an amazing, amazing idea. And obviously, you know, one of the things that I picked up at the Investor Summit was the way that they take books and really kind of don't just read the book, which is what I've always tried to say, like, oh, why don't you just read this book? And actually they go review the book, and then everyone kind of has to look at it properly and then come and have a conversation. And so Judy actually recommended that I listen to this AI-driven leader, and I listened to it when I went to America now, and I really, really enjoyed it. It really was an amazing book. And for those of you that want to understand AI, want to understand the power of AI, I can't express enough how much it's changed for me since reading that book and how much I now use it. So much so that I've even had my psychologist and my business coach say, are you trying to replace me? And the answer is pretty much yes. Because I can get real-time feedback versus wait a week or a month or however long. You know, it's really unbelievable. But without further ado, you know, Judy, I just want to say thank you very much to you. There's a huge amount of demand for everyone wanting to learn and listen to this. And I'd love you to just give a little bit of a backstory before you get started. I assume you'll probably do this anyway. But why did you go further? Like, I mean, I've read the book, but I didn't think to give a presentation to everyone. So I'd love to kind of understand that a little bit more. But on behalf of the mastermind and everyone that's here, I'm deeply grateful for you sharing. And I'm really looking forward to your insights around this book and most importantly, how we can use this information. So, but thank you. I'll shut up and hand over to you.
Thank you, Scott. And yeah, I really hope I'm going to serve you all this evening. The reason I did a presentation was I had the good fortune of being in the US in May. I work for an organization called Women's Presidents Organization, and Jeff Woods, the author, gave a presentation. And prior to me going into his AI presentation, I was like, ugh, I hope it's not going to be another one of those AI things. They're all the same old, same old. So I walked out of there and I was like, no, this is really great. It really changes the way that I actually look at AI and how it's here to serve us. And from there, I came back. And for the people who hadn't been able to attend in the US, I put together the presentation. So I'm going to make a huge disclaimer now. I don't have a tech background or anything like that. It's just an interest for me. I love new shiny things. So, of course, I went straight down the rabbit hole. And, yeah, so I'm following what some of the voices out there are doing in terms of AI. And tonight I will do my best to answer what questions you may have. But the AI-driven leader is really a presentation about how most of us are using AI, if we are. And if you're using it just put in the chat for me what you're using it for. It'd be really interesting to see that.
That could be interesting.
Yeah, I'd love to see what you're using it for and which tools you're using. Because I think in October, October of 2024, we found a number that said there were 16,000 different AI tools at that stage. I dread to think what the number is now. I wasn't able to find it. Let's get cracking.
Just a quick one, Judy. Just if you don't mind, I forgot today, for those of the part of the mastermind, I actually had a poll to actually ask people about the industrial, not what we didn't even do industrial slides, but I had a long day of presenting, with self-storage and everything. And I forgot to put the poll up until right at the end. So I'm going to put the poll up now. People can answer it at their own time. I'll leave it up, but it doesn't interfere with your presentation at all. So I'm just letting people know that's why I'm putting it up, just in terms of that process. And then I see that I've pinned you, but I'm going to stop pinning you because otherwise we're not going to see your presentation properly. So let me just figure this out quickly. So I want to spotlight you, not pin you. Let me go remove pin. Oh, there we are. And then I want to spotlight you for everyone. Okay, got you. Okay, anyway, over to you.
And it's called Leading with AI because essentially the way Jeff Woods approaches the subject is it's about leadership and how do we lead people to use AI. So for decades, we've been taught that having or being a good leader is about having all the answers. And fundamentally, that falls away now because AI has completely shifted that playing field. It's not just about automating tasks, it's about it becoming your strategic thought partner. This means your role is no longer to know everything, but it is to ask better questions, frame smarter problems, and think more deeply about the future. So the leaders who thrive in this environment won't be the ones with the most technical skills. They'll be the ones who learn to partner with intelligence, to harness AI, and not just to do things faster, but to do things more intentionally. And that begins with a mindset shift. And this is about helping you to make that shift. So if we start with historical patterns, and often we have, Scott mentioned Ray Dalio and people like that, it's not the first time that we have been shaken by a major shift, and it's not the first major technological shift either. So we can think back to things like the printing press, the steam engine, electricity, the internet, and each time entire industries were upended. People feared for their jobs, their roles, their relevance, and every time two things happened. First, the early adopters, those who leaned in, learned fast, and reimagined what was possible, pulled ahead. And secondly, the resistors, those who tried to ignore or fight change, fell behind and became obsolete. AI is no different. It's this generation's industrial revolution. It's rewriting how value is created in every industry. And if you understand the pattern, you stop fearing the change. You start preparing to lead through it. And it isn't about tech, it's about leadership adaptation. So just thinking about that, is the world ready for AI? I heard somebody talk about this earlier today. Absolutely not. So there are things that will roll out, and there's great uncertainty ahead of us. However, at the same time, we have to ask ourselves the question, is AI going away? It's not. It's here to stay. So you need to choose where you fit into the space and what choice you want to make about adopting the technology or not. And the mindset transformation and where leaders are getting it wrong is they're using AI as an efficiency tool, something to automate emails with, create meeting summaries, and crank out reports faster. Whereas the AI-driven leader steps into an orchestrator mindset. Instead of asking, how can I get this done faster? They ask, how can I use AI to improve the quality of my thinking? AI gives us the chance to move up the value chain, which moves us from doing to directing and from executing to envisioning. You don't win by doing more. You win by thinking more strategically, asking better questions, and freeing yourself from operational clutter to focus on what only you as a leader can do. If the past teaches us anything, move my slides along. It's about adopting that growth mindset. And if the past teaches us anything, it's that waiting is the biggest risk. Leaders who hesitated during previous resolutions lost their relevance. In the AI era, you need to make your choice. We have an edge that previous generations never had. It allows us to simulate, to model, and even to predict disruption. And you can use it to run scenarios. Before we had to think about those scenarios. Now we can ask it to scenario for us. So you can ask it questions like, what if my business model became obsolete next year? Or what would it look like if a computer used AI to offer my service at 30% cheaper? So it's about proactive leadership, using it to stretch your foresight and bring those future insights into today's strategy. That's what separates the disruptors from the disrupted. I'm clicking on let me close your feedback. I'm ignoring that, Scott. I'm not feeding back to you.
No, it's fine. It's fine. It's all good.
So if we're honest about where most leaders sit, and I do work as a business coach, so quite often I find people too much, or leaders too stuck in the operational activities of the business as opposed to the leading the leading space. They're working in their business. They're not working on their business. And they aren't overwhelmed because their work is hard. They're overwhelmed because they're stuck in the weeds. The average executive spends their day putting out fires, sitting in unproductive meetings, replying to emails, and viewing endless reports, all of which might feel productive, but truly it's reactive and not strategic. So AI is your off-ramp from that trap. But here's the catch. It won't work unless you change your approach. You have to stop trying to do it all yourself and start designing a system where AI handles the 80% that doesn't require your judgment. And this is the part where we can see AI is going to be replacing people. It's there for the things that roll out doing the same thing over and over again. Will AI replace people? Absolutely, it will. But we also know many more jobs are going to be created by AI, and it will replace people who don't learn to work with AI. So the leadership crisis isn't time, it's about focus, and we'll only escape the overwhelm by reclaiming the focus at the top. So how do we hit focus? And it's by looking and focusing on fewer things instead of focusing on everything. There's the 20% that changes the 80% of everything. From my perspective and where I work, I focus on any 3 things in any week, in any quarter, and 3 big things in any year. And that really just helps to narrow down your focus and look strategically at what you're doing and where you're doing it. So the 20% that moves the 80% is the work that creates the greatest impact per unit of effort. For most leaders, that includes making 3 to 5 key decisions that shift direction, casting a compelling vision that aligns your team, recruiting, retaining, or elevating top talent, and navigating pivotal relationships, be that with investors, partners, or clients. Those are thinking problems, not doing items. And that's why AI is your edge here. You don't use it to confirm what you already think. You use it to pressure test your thinking. So you ask yourself questions like, again, and it's all about the question, what are the long-term risks of this move? Where might my team misinterpret this decision? Give me 3 alternative strategies that challenge my default bias. And the more you use the tool, the more it will pick up on what your defaults are. So asking it to look for that helps you see things that, because we all think, and we think in one direction. All of us have different talents and different ways of thinking, whether it be critical, strategic, or creative, or many other styles of thinking that there are. And finally, as a leader, you need to protect time for this work, because if it's not in your calendar, it's not real. And you guard it like your quarterly numbers depend on it, because they do. I'm going to talk to you about the CRIT model. So this is the model that Jeff Woods talks about in his book, and it's a beautiful model. It works really well for anything. And the most important part, I think, of the model is, first of all, giving it context. Some of us will type a sentence into AI and hit the button, not even asking it what you want it to do, and it'll come back to you with stuff. And I'll explain to you why in a slide further down the line that explains what a language model is. So the first thing is context. And if you're wanting to get really good results, you have to give your AI as much context as possible. So that's the background information, the reports that are relevant. You feed everything you possibly can into it. And then you're going to ask it, then you're going to give it a role. So as a world-class strategic expert, as a world-class LinkedIn expert, as a whatever, vegan health specialist, whatever it is for you, you give it world-class role. You can even use things and people. So and sometimes it will throw it back at you because it becomes too close to other people's IP. But you can say, as a world-class coach like Tony Robbins, along the lines of Tony Robbins. So if it throws that back at you, all you do is reword it in a different way. So there's always ways around the predictive model of the text. And then you want it to interview you. And I've written there, ask me 3 questions, 1 at a time. You can ask it to ask you more, but generally in 3 to 5 questions, you're done. The reason you say 1 at a time is because if you don't tell it 1 at a time, it is going to ask you questions, all 10 of them at once. Whereas if you ask it 1 at a time, you will give it the information, and the second question will be a different question based on the information you've given it.
Just by the way, Judy, I hope you don't mind me interrupting, and if you do, tell me to shut up. That was one of the most cool things I took out of the book. Was it's
amazing
like a mentor that asks you questions, and like sometimes you ask for something and it's like, you want funding or whatever. It's like, I want funding, and then they're like, well, what about this? And you're like, oh shit, I didn't think about that. Like, you know what I mean? And this, when being asked this question, actually helps you much more than you ever know. But specifically asking 1 at a time, because otherwise you get like 10, and you don't know how to answer them. So it's such a valuable thing. I'll shut up, but yeah.
It is, and Scott, I totally agree with you, because that is the biggest takeaway for me. Because to ask it to ask you something just helps you get more clear on your thinking and more clear on what your ask actually is. And this whole AI thing is all around the language that you use, how you communicate with it for you to get the best results. So the final thing then is the task. So what is it that you want it to do? I want a strategic plan for my business. I want you to research A, B, and C. I would like whatever it is. So what is it, the outcome that you want? And quite often we're not really clear on what our outcome is. We'll ask questions, but not really knowing what it is that we want. So to create that task and have that clear output really helps you get the clarity you want. So when we apply this methodology constantly, something shifts. You start to lead the AI interaction and not follow it Google style. Because so many of us have gone into it and treated it like Google. It's not Google. It's not anything like Google. And this, again, will help us to make better decisions faster because we're thinking more intentionally. So it's not about becoming a prompt engineer. It's about becoming a prompt leader. There's a lot of noise about the prompt, and there's some really great prompts out there. But thinking about what it is that you want and how you want it and communicating that properly is your job in the future. It's really about getting that clarity of thinking and clarity of communication. And you're going to hear me say that a lot. And this is when it stops becoming a novelty and starts becoming indispensable. So it becomes your thought partner and your collaborator. So what can we then do with it? Oops. We can fast track the insights that we need. So we are now surrounded by data. This large language model is able to search the entire internet in seconds. That is such powerful information. It's able to give us market updates, team performance dashboards, competitor analysis, customer feedback, and even board level reporting. And I'll give you some examples of this as we get further down. So the challenge is no longer the access to the data. Obviously, if you've got your internal data and you can put AI through that, that is first prize. The challenge is making the decisions using the data with confidence and quickly. So it excels in collapsing the time between information and insights. So here are the fundamentals of AI. It's a large language model. It predicts language. It doesn't predict the truth. So it is trained to follow patterns. And when you understand that it's trained to follow patterns, then you can understand how good it is at extracting patterns. It's based on patterns. So its strength is the speed that it is able to work at, because it comes out really super quickly. It can work at scale and provide enormous clarity. The limitations are it's not a human. Okay, so you have to think of it as being a student with 2 PhDs and no real world experience. So it can go out there, and more it's been trained on intellectual information and not emotional information. So they are focusing down the road of intellect and finding the data and the information, but it doesn't make it able to operate in the real world. It has no human experience. And that's why the combination of the human and the intellect that we can get from AI is so extremely powerful. So it really gives us the strategic edge to pivot faster, position ourselves better, outlearn our competitors, and play offense. So let me give you some real world examples about what you can do. So, and I'm going to make up a business, but for example, you have a plumbing business. It's based in Alberton in Gauteng, South Africa, and you can go and you can have a look at all your competitors using deep research. You can say to it, and again, I'll show you some examples just now. You can say to it, I want to know who are all the other plumbing businesses around me based on a 15-kilometer radius. I mean, you give it its boundaries as well. In a 15-kilometer radius, and it will probably take about 20 minutes, and it'll fish them out for you and give you a list of competitors. You can then further interrogate by asking it to compare websites of your competitors. You know, what are they offering? What can we see? Where can you find ads for them? So you really have the ability to have do something in an hour or 2 hours that would have taken days, or you could potentially have outsourced that to somebody else. You can learn how to position yourself as well. So it goes from being a support tool from writing those very nice emails that it does so well, to giving you the strategic edge. And most leaders use the data to make sense of what's already happened. But the real competitive advantage comes from seeing what's next and getting there before your competitors do. So it helps to amplify your foresight. You can ask it to map emerging trends, run best and worst case scenarios. stress test your business model in changing market conditions. And it's going to come up with a whole lot of things that you can then further interrogate. You can give it imaginative prompting, like what will threaten our pricing power over the next 12 months? Or how might a competitor use AI to deliver what we do at half the cost? They aren't hypotheticals. These are questions that can help you see around the corners. And when you use it for strategic exploration, not just reporting, you shift from reacting to shaping, from being surprised by the market to setting the pace. And that's what the AI-driven leaders do differently. They don't wait for disruption. They are the disruptors because they're simulating, preparing for it, and leading with clarity. So short term, we've got speed and efficiency. Long term, it's about transformation. And the ultimate goal is to rethink value creation. So balancing execution with preparation for tomorrow. Too often the urgent kills the important. Fires pop up, deadlines loom, strategic thinking gets pushed to later, which often becomes never. AI can help you break that pattern. Here's how. You zoom in, you use AI to accelerate daily operations, summarizing your emails, summarizing your meetings, drafting your emails, building presentations, reduce admin friction, and that clears your space in the day. And you can zoom out, that once you brought back the time, you use AI to support the long-range thinking. Again, questions, possible scenarios for our industry that could shift in 18 months. Draft a vision, narrative that aligns with my team for 2026. What are the top 5 risks for our growth model over the next 2 years? And it's not one or the other. AI allows you to hold time frames and be tactically productive and strategically focused. By the way, this entire presentation, the part that you're seeing now, was built from my script and popped into an AI app called Gamma AI, and it spat it out to me. I have to do a tweak or two. That's it. All right. So the important thing around AI is how it's going to impact your team and how do we get people to adopt it? Because the real challenge in getting people to adopt is people don't like change. And many people see AI as a job threat. And they are extremely worried that if I learn this thing, it's going to take over my job and I'm going to disappear. The reality, as I mentioned earlier, is if we do not teach our teams AI, our businesses will be too slow. We will be less reactive. We will not be at the pace that everybody else is. And again, to bring home the impact that we are a human plus an AI interaction. So what we want to do is we want to teach the CRIT model to our team, or good prompting is what it is, and get them to do some exercises with it. Then what do we do from that? We build some internal use cases. So what always happens is you will have your early adopters and your late adopters. So in the game of the early adopters, you'll have 1 or 2 people getting excited, and then we will build momentum. And then eventually there are more than half the people, and everybody buys in because it really becomes a peer pressure to go with the flow. But it's about, and this is about change management, essentially. How do we manage people through change? So this is the suggested flywheel of AI transformation within the business. So you'll have a team member use it on something real. They find it works and that time is saved and quality is improved. They talk about it. Somebody else gets curious and tries. They succeed and the cycle continues. So building the flywheel like we see in Jim Collins's Good to Great, it's the same thing. It's about the adoption and making sure this continues. How do we make sure that it continues? We pick 2 workflows, specific processes where AI can deliver immediate value. We track the time saved or the insight gained, and we have a weekly debrief. So bringing the team together to discuss what their learnings, the same way we bring the mastermind together, like what are we learning about money and investing here, and different things from each other. You would do exactly the same thing with a group of people using AI within an environment. So you want to have people that you can share the information with. You can talk about what you've just learned. You can talk about what didn't work, because not all of it works. And not always the way you use it works either. So learning from one another makes it a really powerful and more impactful. And also, if we're coming back to have those conversations on a weekly basis, we know it's something that we've got to do. It's that weekly momentum of the weekly meeting that brings everybody together, having to contribute something that will grow the momentum within the organization. So AI accelerates the insights. We can take raw information into actionable intelligence faster than ever before. We combine data with judgment, and that is our own human judgment. And to never just accept what AI has given you. You need to push it back 3-4 times, and even between potential different models. With the deep research that it's able to do, it actually gives you where it got the research from. So you can go and you can check the white paper or the website or the platform or whatever it was. But again, you don't want to just spit things out and accept it as real. And I mentioned a word earlier called hallucination. I think I did. Did I? Yeah. So hallucination, because it's predictive and it's designed to follow patterns, it's giving the next best word in the sentence, and sometimes it will just make it up. So as an example, I got it. I wanted it to give me a recipe, and when I looked at it, thank goodness I have a fair judgment on like cooking, and I looked at it and I went, let's make that up. It's not real. So sometimes your information is not correct. They've just come out with GPT-5, which landed when I heard I was doing this presentation today, and it landed in South Africa like 2 or 3 days ago. The whole thing's just changed again. And it was about 10 days before that AI agents hit. So I did this presentation a month ago, and in that time, there have been 2 new updates to ChatGPT on its own. So keeping up with it is, you have to approach it from the fact that I am going to be learning, and I'm going to be continually learning, and I'm going to be continually learning on an ongoing basis. And I think that'll be for quite some time. I don't know where this starts and where this finishes. But it's not something that you can sit down in an hour and do. I give myself 15 to 20 minutes every day to test something on AI or to play with it. So giving yourself that time and space to just look at it or say, oh, I never thought of trying that. Let me try that, or let me ask my AI. And leadership is not automated. It's never automated. It's your human responsibility, and it requires your wisdom, and it requires your value. So it taking over, I don't think is likely. So we need to make it a habit. It's not just hype. It's been here since, I think it was December 22 it landed. So it's been with us for a while already, and adoption is not massively quick, but it's definitely gaining momentum for you to use it continually and to share your wins and build a culture around AI. So in summary, we're going to use it to build a reflective culture, to use it to model scenarios, clarify our goals, look at the risks, explore the trade-offs, ask the big questions that are going to make the difference. I don't know what's there in the chat at this point, Scott. What I would like to do is perhaps tackle some questions, and then I can show you a few examples and we can play with something. And then I can just show you a few basic things depending on what people want to know.
So can I ask, I'll ask the first question and then I want to kind of go, funny enough, I was going to ask you how you did your slides. Because I was given sort of 4 or 5 different companies to use. They are quite expensive. I mean, even Gamma, I think over 30 slides, you were looking at sort of $100 plus, and you didn't kind of know what quality you were going to get. So it's just interesting to see what you got here. But my question in the book, The AI-Driven Leader, and I got the audio book, and I tried to go and kind of download the thing and everything, and I know it's there, but I haven't been able to find it. You have the link for where the prompts are. So he had some great prompts in the book, and I haven't. It's almost like that prompt that you gave me, be a critical, give me critical feedback, or what, I can go find it to read. I use it all the time. I literally use it a couple of times a week. And so to have really good prompts is so valuable. And I was wondering if you had found either in the book or somewhere else, like almost a prompt library, if that makes sense, Who's drawing on the screen?
Yeah, so there are a few people that I follow, and I pick up on specific prompts from them. I've copied 4 over today that I could share the document with you in the chat that I thought were just really cool prompts that explored different things. So I'll go back and see if I can find that. I didn't pull that out, Scott.
No, I think it's incredibly valuable for most people, because getting good quality prompts. I mean, let me just read you the prompt that Judy gave to our mastermind group a while ago. So it says, "You are a brutally honest advisor. Give me the direct truth that hurts enough to help me grow. Rules, no fluff, compliments, or disclaimers. Challenge my assumptions, expose excuses, highlight wasted effort. If my request is vague, ask precise follow-up questions first. Think step by step internally, then show me one final answer. Output each time is 5 sections. Brutal audit. What am I doing wrong, underestimating, or avoiding? Blind spots and risks. Hide hidden dangers I don't see. Ruthless priorities. The top 3 actions to focus on now. Speed and energy fixes. How to move faster or with better intensity. Next check-in question. One question that keeps me accountable." And then after that, you put whatever dilemma you're dealing with. I use it for everything, okay? And you'll be amazed at the feedback you get from that. So I'll post that just and I literally have it saved in my notes because I use it all the time, like, as a prompt. But look how sophisticated that prompt is when Judy's talking about fit. Like rather than me just going, "Hey, I have a problem. What do you think?"
Yeah. So, Scott, on your prompt, what you can do is, if you have a look down in the bottom left-hand corner of your chat, you can customize your ChatGPT. So you can take it there, and in there you can put it into here what traits it should have, or what personality you want it to have, or anything else, and then it's permanently there for all your whatever you're asking it.
Oh wow, I didn't know that. I see Shane's posted. Thanks, Shane. Shane's posted the AI-Driven Leader Companion, which is the
cool. Thanks.
PDF. He's put it in the chat box for everyone.
Thanks, Shane. Yeah. So, and I'll run through this quickly with you, so you can all see. You'll all be able to set them up. So, what do you want it to call you? Give it the name. You tell it what it is that you do. What sort of personality? Now, this actually, you could type the personality before, but in this new 5, it now gives you options here. So I like robots. I just like, give it to me straightforward, be blunt. You know, on the previous version, it was all
So
fluffy
Alex
and
is
it was
online. He can go for nerd. Energy and enthusiastic.
Yeah, and maybe and default is cheerful and adaptive. So that's where you're going to get that. Oh, that's great. That's a great idea. Blah blah. You know, I don't like one good idea. It's just give me the information. So you can use that. And then this was actually the traits I put in originally, and they're still here. So I've given it two GPTs, one for personal and one for work. And I gave my GPT the name Terry for personal, no real reason. And I gave it, you'll like this, masterminders. Why is it not just scrolling down for me? Let me see if I can do it there. And my business one was called Fortune. You might appreciate the name. And there it is again. Tell it like it is. Don't sugarcoat it. So that's how you set it up to work for you with what you want. So again, you've given it some background information, and you can store it in there. So I'm going to talk quickly about GPTs, and here's one called Future Coach. So if you have a look at this, come open up. All right, so I've created this. So a GPT you create to work on certain things in a certain way. Okay. So positioning action plan, as an example, is when I'm creating a marketing position plan for somebody. It's got all my information uploaded in there, and they can actually work with that. The financial document is, I can put any financial document in there. I have set up with the ratios I want to scrutinize inside of that, and then I can ask it whatever questions I want based on the information that's in there. Future Coach is all the work I've done with Tony Robbins. So I've got my Tony Robbins work in there. Wait, let me see if I can open it. Sorry, I've got a bit of Zoom stuff in my way.
He's asking you, just while you're bringing it up, he's saying, how do you create a GPT?
A GPT, okay. So you go here to GPTs, and you go create. So you're going to go create, and you're going to give it a name. You're going to tell it what it does. You're going to give it the instructions, and this is where mine comes from. I upload the files. So it's got all the Tony Robbins workbooks in it on 6 different courses, and it's designed to coach me like Tony Robbins. Easy peasy.
How can you share GPTs? Like
you can.
If you're like me and
absolutely.
I've got all the workbooks, but they like in physical booklets, and I'd have to go and scan them all. Like,
yeah. So you can, and I've created it. I've created mine so that it's not. Let's just see if we can open that up now. Future Coach, where are you? I just want to edit.
is it not the 3 little buttons on the right?
Yeah, but it's not. It's going hide from sidebar. So I don't know what's happening there. Yeah. Sorry, guys. I'll make a little video for you. But sorry, what was the question, Scott?
No, he was just asking how to create a GPT, and then I was just asking if you can share them. I know Alex has responded there and said you've got to have a paid for license to share them.
Yes, this is paid for.
Yeah.
So I can, yeah, and it's there. I'm sure it's there. I don't know why it's not opening now. But yeah, and you just say share, and it will share the link with a certain person. So definitely can be done. Let me just see if it's under the Zoom stuff. If there's anything under the Zoom there. No. I've just got the Zoom. I'll find it. I'll post a little video in the group for you guys. All right. So that's the GPTs. Aside from that, there's a whole selection you can choose from anyway.
A couple of people have asked, a question's come about 4 times already, so I think we should just answer it. A couple of people have said, is it worth having a paid-for license? I don't actually know how to answer that. I have a paid-for license, so I don't know what you don't get if you don't have a paid-for license. But I've often joked with our team and my CFO, Paula, and I've said, you know, for $20 a month, if ChatGPT suddenly became $5,000 a month, I would have to find a way to, like, because, you know, it's like an invaluable part of my life now. So I don't know if everyone else, if anyone here wants to fight for the free version, but everyone that I know that has a paid for version, it's best bloody $20 that you can spend.
Yeah, it's so cheap. I mean, it's like you went out for breakfast.
Yeah.
You know, like it's absolutely it's the one thing I would definitely not give up, not for anything. So hello, young man.
It's bedtime.
So then I wanted to just show you, and I pulled up a couple. Then they have projects. So, you know, all the stuff that I do around Mastermind and all the rest of it is in the wealth building folder. And I will, as an example, and I don't really want to go into that because it's personal, but you know, I've done like property in Cape Town. What will it look like if I hang on to it? What will it look like if I've sold it? What are the other things I could do with it? And that's ultimately what helped me make the decision, because I was actually going to get rid of it. And we switched it across to hotel, but it gave me a whole lot of different ways of looking at refinancing and all kinds of things. But the trick is you've got to keep pushing it. You've got to keep asking the questions. You've got to keep saying, what am I not seeing? What haven't I thought of? So that catch-all question at the end is so super, super powerful. What are my blind spots? So I'm doing directors training within this folder as an example. All my board papers, all my prep for the board is done in there. The financials are organized. The board characters are scrutinized. So beautiful thing. And I can't remember if it was in the book or the presentation, but Jeff Woods talks about how they had this problem with the clients in Japan. Was that in the book, Scott?
Can't remember, to be honest.
Yeah. So they had this client in Japan, and the culture is such that people couldn't tell the leaders what they needed to do, and the company was sinking. And they put a few iterations and questions into ChatGPT, and they actually came up with the answer. Chat came up with the answer is that you need to find somebody close to the leaders on the board at their level to have the conversation with them, because the Japanese culture did not allow for them to make decisions. So asking questions around culture is like also super powerful. What we could do is we can go and we can put all our different Enneagram styles in there. And you can put your Enneagram styles and say, okay, well, how should I approach a person with this Enneagram style? You know, I'm having a tough time with a staff member or a family member, or so in this advanced directors folder, we've got a tool that's called Contribution Compass, and it talks about people with different energies, from strategic thinkers to salespeople to high refining accountants, sustaining people, and each one of them would look at things differently. So when I'm preparing for my board, I say, pull up a director. Each one of them with each one of the personalities from the contribution compass and give me their viewpoint. How cool is that? So then you get every type of personality giving you a different viewpoint on the same thing. So that's really interesting. So those are projects. So when you have continual things that you're doing and you're working on, you build up your files for your projects. And then I wanted to just show you, this was a deep research example, and I can't do it live because it takes time. Okay, but I'll show you what we did. It took 14 minutes to complete. It looked at 60 different sources, and it did 127 searches. So my daughter in Cape Town is looking for a job. She lives in Observatory. Please explore all job listings from the past week within a 15-kilometer radius of Observatory, Cape Town, focusing on roles suitable for a student with a background in childcare, retail, waitressing, and admin. I'll prioritize in-person roles, but include remote and hybrid options too, and scan across platforms. So that is what it had said to me. And again, please confirm the following and ask the question. Then I gave it more information. And 14 minutes later, I had the jobs that have been posted in the last 7 days in the Cape Town area with where they were posted. So that is research. So if you want to get on the research tool, here it is, deep research. Okay. I haven't done study and learn yet. Web search is obviously if you want to do the whole web. Canvas is for coding. If you've connected apps, and you connect apps here, so you can integrate everything. I haven't done a full integration yet. I work out of Google, and it doesn't give me an option to share parts of my drive. I don't feel confident enough for it to have all my information. So I actually want to separate it out. So I've got two separate drives. So I can have a trawl through everything.
Judy, I'm just going to mute everyone if you can just unmute yourself. Okay. Just unmute yourself again. Thanks.
Yeah. Yeah. So you can actually attach it, and then it'll go and search for the answers in your own folders.
Sure.
So fully integrating through all the information you've already accumulated. Yeah. So what else did I want to tell you guys? So these are the 10 most used AI tools. I created this slide earlier today, and let me just show you how I did that.
Because there will be bricks and mortar valuations.
He's still on it.
It is
I want to talk.
But it's actually a 3-bedroom house or 4-bedroom house, whatever it is. They will take the comparison.
Okay, so this is agent mode. I've connected it to my Canva. Fortune came up for us because it knows it's work. And all I said was design a slide for my presentation that gives top 10 AIs used and in order, include their logos and their strengths. Boom.
Bloody hell. So you don't have
Bloody
to
hell is
use
right.
You don't have to know how to use Canva. You just ask the question, but link to Canva.
Well, I linked it to Canva because I was trying that, but I would be interested to see what it would do not linking to Canva. So it works for 23 minutes, and you can see it's gone through 184 sources. You watch it trawl through different sites looking for the stuff. It tells you what it's doing as it goes along. Amazing.
Amazing. What do you do when you have this situation though? Like, I'm just going to steal the screen here quickly. So as much as I love AI, sometimes not everything's perfect, and it can behave like an employee. So I'm building an entire presentation, which I can bore you all with, but basically here it's like perfect. It's exactly what I want. Right, you'll receive this shortly. Well, that was at 7:30 this morning. So now I talk to my employee. It was 10 hours later. Yes, sorry, you are wrong. It's coming now. Okay, well, it's coming now.
And it's not
5
coming.
minutes ago. Well, that was like earlier at 8 o'clock. You know, it's like, so
I've never seen that.
now it tells me it's coming in 20 minutes. I always joke with people. It feels like, you know, I'm back in the workplace.
Yeah.
It's like, right, we need to have a disciplinary hearing here.
Oh, you know what it is, I think, Scott? When did you start that?
No, so I mean, I started at like 6:30 this morning, and then
Only today.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like it just sometimes.
I don't know.
I mean, most often you ask a question and it pops out the stuff, and every now and again it says it's going to go and create the stuff, and it's literally like a dysfunctional employee that just never does the job and has excuses. Like it never actually delivers.
Have you asked it? Have you
I've
asked
even
it? Why aren't
I've
you
even gone,
delivering?
how do I hold you accountable if you do not deliver what you said?
I'm going to fire you. Okay. So Camille, did you see what Camille said there? He says it doesn't act as fast on statements as it does on questions.
Okay.
Yeah. So do you want a secret in action? Because we can do that.
Yeah, please, yeah.
Okay. Who wants to share something? Or shall we make something up? Wait, let me just find my chat again.
Did you see what Estienne said? If I may, I actually threatened chat with Claude or Grok and say, I'm going to use them if you don't give it to me now. I'm going to try that. I'm just going to try that right now and see what happens. Like,
yeah. And there's lots of people who are testing between models. So they'll create something in chat, but then they'll go to Gemini and reiterate it again. So that constant between the two, just to give you, you know, the best version. Because if you're taking the first version, you're not getting the best version. So I don't know if you know you can speak to it. So I'm just going to make something up. And let me just think for a minute. Okay. I want to develop a self-storage business in Cape Town, and I'm thinking it needs to be in central Cape Town. Your role is to act as a property developer, a world-class property developer, and scout for the best areas for me to put this in. Interview me one question at a time so that you have all the context that you need.
Hey, Judy, just a reminder to share screen, please. If you.
Oh, Shibbit. Sorry, peeps.
just while you're sharing screen, I thought everyone would like to know that Estienne's threatening worked. I just got the document.
Good. Now we know what to do. Okay, so it's really happy to see me, as you can see. What I did was push that button and dictate it. So it spat that out, and it hasn't, it takes out the ums, the ahs, and all the rest of it. You obviously need to read it and make sure it's heard you correctly, but it's actually pretty damn good. And away we go. So the first question, what is your target customer profile for self-storage business? Shall I say small businesses? And you might give it more information. You might say it's all of that. It's up to you. You know, I'm just doing a quick demo. More short term storage and long term. Let's say medium units. I don't know what is the average rental price for storage. Use that. Okay, just the other thing is you don't have to correct your spelling mistakes. It'll correct them, unless they're just so bad it looks like another word. Okay, so it's then quickly done the research for us. Okay, which Cape Town neighborhoods are you considering? Let's say Woodstock. Or I'll say any of them. A conversion, because that's what Blair told us this morning. Why is it asking me so many questions? Oh, one question at a time. I didn't say ask me 3 questions. Okay. I'm just going to say enough questions. Shortlist. So I could be speaking this at the same time. You didn't see me speak it, so I'll do the next one. So here it's finding us what's available. You can also tell it to put it specifically into a table, or you can tell it to create a diagram, whatever. Okay, specify target. So it's now asking me, like it's just, if I'd given it all of this context in the beginning, it would have known. I have no idea what it is, so I'm going to say 1,000 square meters. There you go, square meters. Okay, so it can then go and identify them. Let's ask it, what blind spots may I have if I think self-storage is a good investment? It tells you to look at the demand, the competition scale, conversion costs. Okay. It can build me an investment.
It's nice that Claire spoke about quite a lot of those already today when we asked him about risk.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and then you can ask it about other locations. I mean, you can just keep reiterating and exploring. And I like to ask like catch-all questions, like what else should I consider? Because it might not give you everything the first time. Climate, brand and marketing. And then it can write comparative return models. Yeah, and then you can, I mean, you can just say yes, or you can, does anybody want to ask it a question? Tell me. You'll have to tell me if there's anything in the chat, Scott.
Yeah, I'm watching. I don't see anything.
Okay. All right. But does that give you an idea of how to extract the information out of the model? And I mean, you could ask it
I
about.
think Rania asked a question here, how to execute. So I assume she means
Okay.
self-storage.
Well, let's go. What would my first, or we can say, let me do this. Build me a step-by-step process to take this project from start to finish. So this is a new thing, this thinking longer, that is in the 5 model. So what 5 does, it now chooses which model of GPT to use to get what it wants. So, and I mean, you can change it to get a quick answer, but let's see if it doesn't take too long. And Scott, while we're waiting for that, you might want to ask me if there are any other questions in the chat that I need to deal with.
Let's go to the top. It's quite hard for me because there's quite a few questions that came through. So I'm just going to look, and if I don't ask someone their question, just type it again, basically. But I'm just looking through all the because quite a few comments.
Okay, so here it's given you the guardrails to start with. What would make it? What would kill it? Micro market scan, so to go in, map the competitors, etc. Look at the due diligence for zoning. It's looked at Cape Town municipality and Cape Town resources, heritage and overlay checks, building plan pathway, fire and life safety basis, site sourcing and screening, concept design, CapEx, funding, head of terms and approvals, detailed design and procurement, leasing, conversion works, blah, 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 blah. Okay, and then what you could do is you could go back and say, okay, build each one of these out in detail for me. And I don't know if there's anybody in property on the call, but I mean, does that kind of look like what you might need?
It definitely looks in the right line. Can I come? There's a couple of questions, like you said. So there's a comment here from Glenn, which is quite humorous because Shane and I discussed this. Always say please and thank you, as you never know when they take over the world and you want them to be on your good side. So like, I always ask please. I don't know why, but you just do. But one that's important that Tracy's asked that I think is very important for people to understand is, I hear your information remains private and secure in the paid version. And I think understanding the privacy and what to share and what not to share is quite important. And I don't know if you've got, I don't have enough understanding to speak of this as an authority, but yeah, I'm not really a private person.
Yeah, so I think it's in here, and I can go and find it for you. But there is, it's in your settings, and I think it's under personalization. Maybe data controls. Yeah, so you turn off improve the model for everybody. You're able, I don't know if you can do that in the unpaid version, but it will work on your stuff if this is not switched off. Okay, so
my belief system is also the more you use it, the more you share with it, the more it learns about you, and therefore the more effective it can be for you. So it's like a bit of a spiral. I might be wrong, but that's just my feeling. A good example for the people that are on the Wealth Going Global course is that, when I did the research for this book, it took me 18 months to write this book the first time. When Shane and I did Wealth Going Global in 2023, it would take me weeks to do one module at a time. And when we did 2025, I programmed everything. I programmed this book in, I programmed all the models, I programmed everything. I even told her where to find the information. And then it took a couple of hours. And I think what I'm saying is, but now my book is programmed into the, it's unbelievable because now it's there, and my attitude is, if the world's going to use it, well, so be it,
Yeah. So depends what you want to do with that. So that's up to you.
I'm just trying to look if there's any more questions in terms of there's quite a few questions about the properties. Let's leave those for now. Watching an example is like deja vu for me. I'm doing this in UK, just same things to give. Okay, so that's Shona. What are the areas that have challenges getting staff to the site? I assume Patricia means with that question, and you did sort of have it in your PowerPoint, but it's sort of how do you get around with your team having resistance to AI? I think that's what she's asking, because the exact thing here is, what are the areas that have challenges getting your staff to the site?
Yeah, and I think I did cover that in the presentation, but just to go through that, most of it is fear driven. At the back end, people are fearful, and they fear losing their jobs and being replaced. And I think it was Microsoft's 8,000 layoffs 2-3 weeks ago, and AI is absolutely behind that. So again, that's how you lead and how you help people to adopt AI, because if they're adopting AI and they're able to use it, your business is moving forward faster.
Yeah.
And they have something to do with the growth and the momentum that is in the business, which then creates a bigger business, which then has capability of keeping people. But and it's also bite size. It just becomes hugely overwhelming to say, okay, well, from tomorrow you're all doing this. Create a bit of fun around that. Let them practice some things. Throw in some prizes. It's really about helping the human element along, and that's where true leadership is.
Judy, there was a comment or question earlier that I also want to kind of talk about, because some people kind of see this as almost a fear in their own job, whatever their job is, or their profession or their consultancy. And someone said up earlier, I saw it, where it's like, I use it for AI, but I don't want my clients to learn that they can use it without, basically replacing me, in terms of that process. And I think my kind of the way I'd answer, I'd love your opinion, but the way I'd kind of answer that is, they're going to figure it out anyway. Okay, so you better figure out a way to add value, because if it's as simple as, let's call it Wealth Going Global. I mean, Shane and I in 2023, little secret, built Wealth Going Global in ChatGPT. And the point being is that, I remember joking with Shane and going like, well, what am I? I'm just the paid-for monkey that gets to present on stage, And I think where the world's going and everything that you teach, it's not a case of if people are going to use AI. It's a fact. It's literally a done. So you've got to find the value to add on top of the AI, that they can't get from the AI. But trying to pretend your clients aren't going to get access to it, it's not going to happen. I don't know what your thoughts are, Judy, but yeah.
Yeah, well, that's like being an ostrich. You can pretend it's not happening, or you can deal with the reality. And look, I'm a firm believer in the human element. Why are we all sitting in this room? Because we want the humanness of it. We want to feel, learn, touch, understand from other people. Yes, you can gather lots of information and all of that, but again, there's the piece that the human brings and there's the piece that the AI brings. So those two together, and the fact that they're building AI on intellect only, just again accentuates the humanness of it. Are you going to do it differently? Hell yes. It won't be the same. You know, for people who drafted basic legal documents or whatever, I mean, you can do that yourself as an example. But you would draft the document, the sensible person would draft the document, take it to a lawyer for the final phase of it. It's remember the piece with 2 PhDs but no real life experience. So it's that real life experience that is required.
Sonia, you
like what Camille said, it's the catalyst for what you're doing.
Yeah. Sonia asked, what are the top 5 jobs that you should advise young people to do? And I just thought I would post this. It's in our mastermind group that someone shared the last couple of days of the fastest growing jobs. So yeah, I'd probably screenshot this and give this to whoever you were wanting to advise.
What does it say there?
So it's quite small, but it's basically big. So it's a big data. It's in the mastermind group, Judy.
Yeah.
But it's
Okay, I'll have a look.
Big data specialist, fintech engineer, AI and machine learning specialist, software and applications developer, security management specialist, data warehousing specialist, autonomous EV specialist, UX UI, which is all about design. Light truck and delivery services drivers, because that's interesting. Internet of Things specialist, data analyst and scientists, environmental engineers, information security analyst, DevOps engineer, and renewable energy engineers.
Yeah, and I've read or I've seen a lot about the basic jobs, you know, the trades becoming more and more important because, you know, as all of this gets faster, apart from all the development and technical people who are there, more people in the world, I think we'll see more entertainment because if people have more time, they're going to be looking for more stuff to do. People who are plumbing or creating restaurant experiences, anything that is experience-based. Yeah, I don't know. You know, my daughter is at university studying blooming creative writing. What does that look like?
Yeah.
But I believe she'll figure it.
Yeah. Tracy asked, can AI do design work, like a room design or garden design?
Oh, absolutely. Brilliant. Yeah, there's some I haven't used any, but I've seen there are quite a lot of really good apps. I'm sure if you just asked chat to find you some.
Okay. Yeah. So
but yeah, you can take a photograph of a room and you tell it a style, it'll decorate it for you.
Yeah, like I mean the part that I've been blown away by is you'd be surprised what it can't do. Like ever since reading that book, because I was using it, as you just said, Judy, I was using it to write emails and even design courses and create landing pages and everything. But actually, when you start like really getting human, I mean, even to Cherie, who's my speaker coach, I've taken all of her models and transcriptions of everything that she said, and I've put it in. I basically trained it to be like Cherie. And then when I do a presentation, like that night, I upload my presentation and I say, right, we're using that critically difficult prompt thing, like give me a report on like, and it's like, do this, do that. It literally takes like 270 slides and goes, right, take out slide 71. And like, it's unbelievable the level of detail, but you've got to change, you've got to be able to program. Shane just said here, ChatGPT designed our studio. So the studio you see behind me was designed by Chat. I didn't know that either. So I just learned something there. So thanks, Shane. We had ChatGPT do our farm logo. Yeah. So I mean, I think that for the part that's blown me away the most is all the business stuff I kind of get. It's the human stuff that has actually blown me away. And you know, relationships, patterns, enneagrams, all that sort of stuff. It really is, because what you said earlier, Judy, is the pattern recognition. What did you say here? Train to follow patterns and extract patterns. intellectual and not emotional. And if you take what James Painter, and most of you have watched James Painter, and the people that on Wealth Going Global saw him yesterday, human emotion is all about patterns. And if you know what the pattern is, you can see what's going to happen. And that, I've just joined two dots there in my own head, which is really important for everyone to understand.
Yeah, I was also, I was at an EY conference in April, and there they told us, I can't remember if it's one of the biggest business trend is communities.
Yeah. No, Roger Hamilton said ABC. A is AI, B is blockchain, and C is community.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Awesome.
That's
Any
so
other questions?
interesting.
I'm very conscious. I'm sure we could stay all night. Estienne, you seem to know what you're talking about, dude. Next month, we'll have you up here. Because he said, I've created 2 divergences indicators through Claude. It wrote over 1,000-line code between 2 indies in 30 minutes, building a framework and then adding plugins. Okay, well, I don't have to chat GPT what that even means, but anyway, it sounds very impressive.
Yeah, Estienne clearly knows what's what he's doing there. Yeah. Camille, I do think that the shared GPT would use APIs, and you can build APIs into it. So again, I'm not techie, but you can connect all the stuff.
That's really interesting about the health thing, because that actually makes perfect sense. You take a blood test and put it up and then can ask questions, because it obviously has a better understanding.
I've done that, yeah.
Really interesting. It's almost like we need I don't know what it is, but like a brainstorming.
It would be nice to have a shared discussion, or what have you tried?
Yeah.
Okay, and then Glenn said if we know about Agent. So I'll just quickly tell you about Agent. It also sits in chats over here. So agent mode is I think we got access to it about 10 days, 2 weeks ago. But really what Agent is capable of doing is you might give it a task, and I've seen this done in the US. I don't know if it would work in South Africa, is I want to create a business around selling secondhand furniture on Facebook. Go and source the furniture for me, buy the furniture. So the agent is able to go and find the product. It's able to make the payment. So there's certain Visa, MasterCard was one other one that already have AI approvals in it. So you can attach it to your to your AI, do the payment for you, book the courier, and the next thing it's like an assistant. So it's done the whole process for you, and then we'll put up the ad for you to sell it again. So yeah, agents. I don't know if there's anything else you want to add to who asked me the question. Glenn. An agent is able to go out and it looks and it searches and it finds a way around, and so it's able to think like, if that's not working, let me try something else, and it keeps coming.
Basically, I use the agent to book me a flight. So it went. I said, look, give me a load of flights. I want the cheapest flights from. It's from here to Ireland. I want the cheapest flights available in the shortest possible time. Can you go and book them for me? And it pretty much did the whole thing. So it went to flight checker, it went to flight scanner, and you could see it actually doing everything on the screen, and it was pretty much phenomenal. So it was my assistant that booked a flight for me.
Yeah.
So fantastic, and that is just the tip of the iceberg. There's so much more that you can do with it.
Yeah. And again, things like that are about parameters and also setting the boundaries for it, because at the end of the day, I want you to book me a flight that is less than, say, I don't know, £500 or whatever it is. Go and search for those. Not just, I want you to book me a flight. So going back to the thinking of what is the outcome we want and being as specific as possible about that is really key to the process. So it's the context, the specific, setting the role, saying how you want the output. Do you want it in a table? Must it be a list? Do you want bullet points? Is it a one-pager? Is it a script? Is it a diagram or an infographic? You can ask for all those things. And another tip I got was to summarize back my request in one sentence before answering, to check for how you've prompted and make sure that it's understanding you. On the other side of it, I like to say, this is what I want. Act as an expert prompt creator and create me a prompt to get that. So I then get it to prompt me after I've put my brain dump in there to create the prompt for me.
Just two comments quickly. One was I created a quick WhatsApp group based on a couple of people saying, why don't we actually have a place just to be able to talk? So I've done it. If people want to join it, it's in the chat room. So we can just kind of help each other and ask questions and whatever. And if you don't like it, you can leave. And then Shane also said, and by the way, Shane's an absolute wizard at this stuff. When I was in America at that investor summit, they had a 22-year-old guy standing up there who works with all the big names, Robert Kiyosaki and everyone else. And he stood there for an hour teaching all us old people how to use this thing. And it was so interesting because everything that he was teaching people to do, Shane was actually doing and building for us already, which was pretty awesome. But Shane said, I'm happy to do a session where we build something if anyone is interested. So again, and a couple have said they're keen. So yeah, I mean, I see Judy's even said yes. So yeah, I think Shane, that'd be awesome. But what I'd like to do is let's kind of keep that WhatsApp group there. I just called it AI help group. I don't know what we should call it, but anyway, because I don't kind of want to get caught up in the mastermind and whatever. Like for those people who want to go in the space, let's keep it contained, a bit like we've done with the cryptocurrency group as an example, and then it can be all things AI type thing,
Yeah, it's also nice to because now as Model 5 lands, there's a whole lot of information coming out about it and people's different analysis. So to look at that, or to have 2 or 3 different versions of what people are seeing and saying about it is interesting. Apparently, people aren't very happy with it.
ChatGPT, the 5, version 5.
Yeah.
Okay.
And the reason for that is they had the previous models. There was 3 and I don't know 3.5, whatever they were, and they've taken all of those away and they've got the base. So it's actually missing pieces of what it had before. That's what they're saying. I haven't seen it for myself yet.
Missing accountability. I got to threaten it. It's just like an employee. If I do this, you'll be fine. Anyway, listen, I think thank you very much, Judy. I think what you've done tonight epitomizes for me what a mastermind is all about. And I want to read I actually want to read something here, which is a book from 1937. And it's Think and Grow Rich. And for those of you who do or don't know, but Napoleon Hill went out and he interviewed, I don't know the exact number, but it was like 30, 40, 50 of the wealthiest people at the time. And he came up with a whole bunch of traits that they all have in common. And trait number 10 was the power of a mastermind, the driving force, the 9th step to riches. And I think why I just wanted to bring that up is that what you've just summarized tonight is the power of a mastermind, where it's not about one person or someone knowing everything. It's actually about a power of community and sharing together. Like, I wouldn't have known about the AI-driven leader if you hadn't have shared the book, and I wouldn't have known about that prompt that is absolutely incredible. If I think it was you, but someone shared that prompt as well, and that for me is the benefit. It's not about the power of one person, but the power of all of us. And so, thank you for sharing. And the other thing that I think is really important is that Judy just learned more by presenting to us tonight than any of us learned. And the greatest way to learn is to teach. So I just that's my gift to all of you, is go and take what you're learning here and go and teach others, because the more you teach, the more you'll learn. So, but yeah, thank you, Judy. I really appreciate it.
Cool. My pleasure.
Awesome. Well,
You know what I'd actually just like to do, if you don't mind, Scott, I just want to put my LinkedIn in case anybody wants to connect with me.
yeah, perfect.
Let's just find it, if you don't mind. Sorry, I should have had this ready.
No problem. And for the wealth hackers and the mastermind members, I'll put the link to the WhatsApp group in the school group, because quite a few people said they want to watch this recording and whatever. So it'll be in the school group. I'll put it there for you. We'll keep it for the paid for members, because this is valuable. Okay, cool. Judy's put in there, and Judy, I'll take your, let me just take your link. I mean, I already got you, but let me just save it. I'll put it in there as well, your LinkedIn thing. Awesome. Okay,
Great. Thank you, everybody.
have a wonderful evening, and I'd like to know who's volunteering to do the book next month. But it's all good. I do repeat. I know, Judy, you said you really enjoyed it. That
I love it.
Diary of the CEO and the 33 Laws of Life. It really is an amazing book. Strongly recommend it as the next book if people are looking for a good book on everything: life, business, communication. It's really, really good. So strongly recommend. But I think with that, it's good night, and we will see you whatever time zone you're in. We will see you. Well, I don't know when I'll see you next Friday or whenever. But anyway, cheers, everyone.
Bye.
Thank you.